these are their stories.
I've become very suspicious about Bob, and what is he trying to hide? He doesn't want me to say much about their history together, and I just have a suspicion that he is guilty.
Absolutely guilty. I would like to share a story, a memory, but I've been advised by my law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe to plead the Fifth Amendment on this, and I don't want to self-incriminate myself, so I will leave it at that point.
And the verdict is guilty.
Not guilty. Guilty.
Not guilty.
This young suitor was from the city, so he has to be guilty.
Married into the family 10 years after the fact, so he's not guilty.
I'm afraid of guilty. All I know is they are both guilty of a lot of things.
My vote is guilty.
Guilty.
They are so guilty. Over the years, I've offered to help Shirley with things, making dinner and so on. She always declines, doesn't want me in the kitchen. It seems suspicious. Bob Raese, if that's his real name. He's always quiet, so secretive. The quiet ones, you always have to worry about them.
Well, I really hate to say it, but I kind of think they're guilty. The thing about my mom that's a little bit suspicious is she really could have a secret life that none of us knows about. I think about from the time I was really young until even when I go and visit on the weekends now. Weekend mornings, she's out of the house before anyone stirs. And she'd leave these little notes saying things like, I went to the store, or heading to Tim Hortons, or even most recently, I'm at the gym. But we have no evidence that she's actually gone to any of those places, aside from her little gang of people that she knows that none of us have ever met from these places. It could be a whole underground network of criminals. But on the other hand, she did work in the FBI, so maybe she's a spy. The thing about my dad is he's really smart and he can literally do anything. So the idea of him being a criminal mastermind isn't beyond the scope of possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, I suppose. There are little things I've wondered about all my life. When you put it that way, there could be something there. Like, why is she always saying, every time you see her, it's like, this might be the last time you see me. In all my life, I thought, she's talking about herself, right? She's saying, I could be gone. Tomorrow's not promised. But then I thought, she's talking about me. And him? What's he always doing on that iPad? You know? Does anybody even know? All of a sudden, everybody's all up in this cold case drama. Everybody has to have something to say about it. I want in. I don't always join a posse. But when I do, I build a gallows.
To the untrained eye, they may seem innocent, but they're guilty. So guilty. When I first met Bob and Shirley, they were so nice, like too nice, suspiciously nice. And since then, there have been all these little things I've noticed that just don't add up. Like, how come no one in the family knows how to pronounce their last name? They all pronounce it differently, like they're trying to hide something. And, you know, this international involvement they have with different organizations, it might be charity, but who really knows?
Yeah, you didn't hear this from me because I'm the new guy. They're guilty. Don't worry about Bob or Shirley or both that makes them look bad. Lately, this whole kitchen redo thing, oh, there's something shady going on there.
Oh, they're for sure guilty. You know, I always thought it was a little suspicious that my grandpa's always golfing. He keeps golf clubs in his backseat all the time. And he's always on the internet. I don't know what he's looking up. You know, I always thought my grandma was so sweet and so soft-spoken until this one time in Mackinac, there was these fish flies all over the ground. She had some strange man pull me out, and then she took me to the hotel room and she beat me.
You're not gonna use this, right? They're my grandparents. They're guilty. They're always spoiling us, and I'm starting to wonder where all of this came from. Very suspicious.
They're absolutely guilty. What kind of question is that? How could they not be guilty? Let me just ask this question here. Has anyone ever seen them argue? Ever? Because I haven't.
They are guilty! Well, there was this one time. Grandma took us to the donut shop, and her so-called friends randomly started giving us money, which was nice, but seriously, that's suspicious.
I think that they are very innocent. Suspicious out Grandma and Grandpa. They're very nice people.
One of the things that affects me is that we were in Europe, and she was dating a lot of guys, and all of a sudden, this picture disappears. I don't know. Maybe somebody else stole it. Of course, he stole the photo. She was the hottest ticket in town.
You are guilty of stealing my sister Shirley's heart.
The devil may be doing it.
He did it.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.